The fund invests in companies that are exposed to change or innovation. It's not just technology for technology's sake, it's invested in companies that are taking advantage of change of habits, process, products and services across a whole gamut of human activity, social, commercial and leisure. It's an all-cap fund and invests in small companies, medium-sized companies and large companies, and geographically our largest exposure will tend to be in the US markets, where you have a greater choice and depth, but also the UK, and we also have holdings in emerging markets and Europe too. This is a fund that will give investors a wide exposure to the rate of change that we are seeing, which is only increasing across company size and geographies too. Broadly, we have exposure to two classes of company. Established innovators is the first class. These tend to be larger companies. They tend to have stronger financial resources, but they're pushing the boundaries. Their shares tend to be very much more easily traded and more liquid. We also have exposure to emerging winners. These tend to be smaller but faster growing companies, and they will have very high potential for creating a lot of shareholder value long term. I work with our investment analyst Tom Hutchinson, and Tom and I are sieving opportunities from a wide pool of contacts and sources, including an industry network. Going back to what I said before about the smaller companies, these shares tend to be less easily traded, and the share price moves of those companies can be more volatile. They can move much more sharply, both up and down. We're more careful as to when we take a position in a new smaller company, the emerging winners, to size our positions accordingly, to factor in how well we know the companies, how volatile their shares are, although we can run those positions as we get higher conviction and reap significant shareholder value from that. So we're not primarily an ESG focused fund, but it is very much in our minds during the investment process. We're thinking about sustainability and governance. When we look at new companies, management is a big focus for us, and a lot of the holdings are very good ESG plays in their own right. ESG stories: water conservation, water treatment, cyber security, and we have a lot of compliance plays, making sure that corporates file their taxes correctly, for example, and they're reporting to financial authorities. So the fund needs to be held, given the context that it is a longer-term perspective that's required. It's going to be slightly more volatile, and investors who look at investing in funds will have to have a longer time horizons, because a lot of these companies, particularly the emerging winners, will take time to bear full fruit. But we think that innovation is a fabulous place to be long-term. The rate of change has never been so great. It's going to get greater, and we're seeing fabulous opportunities not just in the developed West but all around the planet. So there's a lot to go for and rich pickings to be had with patience.